common room. That was Smash Mouth All-Star. Just getting used to the equipment there because I don't think it even got to finish.
Yeah, we had that beautiful moving song just before we came back in. Beautiful. I don't know if you heard it at home, but I'm actually in tears in the studio after hearing that beautiful haunting music.
Always interesting, but getting there in the end, we're slowly getting there, Ashleigh. I mean, this is only our third live episode. Come on, give us some.
Give us a break, guys. Give us a break.
Ashleigh, it's time for a favourite segment of ours. Do you know what time it is?
Is it 9 o'clock? Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. Who would have thought? And, well, it's basically gone on from our last subject. Should we go into a lockdown? Should Adelaide go into a hard lockdown in the next 24 hours?
In the next 24 hours, it's very hard to say because I'm no expert in epidemiology. I don't know why you're asking me, but
you got an opinion.
I do have an opinion.
That's not really a yeah, no. Like, okay, let me change that for you. We should go into lockdown in 24 hours.
We should go. Oh, yeah or nah?
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe not the next 24 hours. It really depends on how many of these cases come back. But the thing is, we won't know that for 2 weeks. Now, as 20 people with the virus, with a potential of up to 4,000 exposed, enough to go into a lockdown. And you know what? I think it's the people who are exposed that really clinch it for me to say, yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm going down that path as well. It is hard to argue that, but again, I'd rather let the epidemiologists or the health officials have an opinion on this. I don't mind the idea of going hard and fast to try and
nip it in the bud.
Yeah, exactly.
Before it, I think that's what surprised a lot of people about the first lockdown is when they came in hard and fast. They're like, "What's the point of this?" But you know what? We did nip it in the bud. States and countries that didn't do that, they had a worse time of it.
Exactly.
And I think that's the way you have to act, especially when you don't know if you have symptoms for like a week and you can't get results back for 2 weeks. It can just really, it can spread a lot. Think of how many places you go in a week.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That is.
I was thinking about how far I could travel in a week, and it's like, oh, I do go to Adelaide. Sometimes I go out into the Barossa. I mean, that's like 100 Ks already.
Yeah, exactly.
If I go east, I go west, go down to the beach.
It's probably I know we talk about what's great about that city. We love that. It's probably also the double-edged sword in this factor because we've got so much things close.
It's so easy to travel.
Yeah. At least I know we're not living on top of each other like in Melbourne and Sydney, but we have different risks like that.
Yeah, different risks in how easy it is to get places. And once you get there, what we know about this virus is one thing is that it spreads.
Exactly. It's a really interesting fact. What do you got for me, Ash?
All right, this is a different thing to get us away from the COVID and maybe what we're going to be doing when we're trying to avoid thinking about COVID. It's about YouTube. And this is for the kids. Do you think YouTube should block ads for children-based videos? So videos aimed at children.
It's a good point. Because we're talking about... You're worried about the consumerism on children, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm worried about the effects that ads have on children. What we know is that it really works on children. They don't know the difference between an ad and the program they're watching.
Yeah, I mean, I understand when people are saying, children are smart enough, but there's certain ages of children that may not.
Yeah, and the thing is when you're watching children's videos on the internet, is you don't know who's watching it.
I think...
I've seen Baby Shark so many times, and I'm not in the demographic that should be watching that.
I think the problem wouldn't it be a limitation of trade?
It's a good question.
Because you don't know if adults are watching it, But this is the problem with maybe people that young having greater access to the internet than we ever had before, and it is quite easy to get on.
It's the Wild West out there. Anything is allowed, and unfortunately, that can affect children as well. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon that kids are suddenly going to go, I don't want to watch YouTube on the iPad.
No, exactly. I mean, there's channels now, and I'm pretty sure it's wrong to do, so I'm not trying to promote them or anything, but you've got like 24-hour Peppa Pig channels, 24-hour Thomas the Tank Engine, you name it,
Yeah, those rolling channels of kids' TV shows and of course, channels completely dedicated to kids. And I'm thinking mainly of
Chids.
of those chids. You know, those chids.
Those children/kids.
Children/kids. I've invented a whole new world on the common room, listening live for linguistic breakthroughs. And you've got, I think what's worse is those, you've seen those review ones. I think it's Ryan or whatever it is, who reviews kids' toys, and he's like, whatever he is, like 7.
Yeah.
And kids watch this and they want to be like Ryan and they want to play with the toys that he's been given by whatever company.
Yeah.
I just think how susceptible I was to advertising on kids. Like, that's what I always think of. Like, people say kids were smart. Like, I was not a smart kid. I was a dumb kid, and I would have wanted whatever they're selling.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
like...
wanted Beyblades, for goodness sake. I wanted Pokemon cards, and I don't know how to play a Pokemon card game.
Yeah, exactly. We're not insulting the brand. It's just the avatar.
We're saying they've done a good job branding because I want them, and I don't know how to use them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I must admit, I was the same with fast food joints when they would offer toys for their whatever, their kids' meals. You know?
I want to go to Macca's and I don't eat meat because I want that toy.
Yeah.
Or I want to go to Hungry Jack's or whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly. Because the toy was just like, oh my goodness, I can get a Sonic little tiny video game or...
Yes, please, give it to me now.
You know, so... I think it's a yeah, but I just don't know how. I really don't know how. That's really hard. Because, look, it's like, let's be honest, this is going to probably go into more of an R18 situation all of a sudden. It's like adult entertainment online. People say, are you 18? Clicks yes. Instantly in. No checks, no nothing. Bit interesting, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's an even harder one to get around.
Yeah, I mean, how are you meant to get around that? I mean, that's just...
Well, the thing about YouTube is they know those videos are aimed for kids because you click a little tick box to say this is for kids and it will come up on the kids' YouTube that they've got.
Yeah.
So
I think the adult entertainment industry know who's aiming at too, Ash.
Yeah, but... Maybe it's a matter of the parents. Maybe we've got to blame the parents for this because the parents should be educating them. But I don't really buy that argument because I would not listen to my kids. My parents.
It's always a bit harder as well because some of these parents have never lived in that age as well. A lot of them wouldn't. Well, I could be wrong here, but I would say a fair bit of people didn't live in a YouTube generation.
Oh, that's
it's only
definitely
recently now, you know,
that
these people start being parents.
Yeah, 2005 is YouTube, so...
Yeah, so that gives you an idea.
It gives you an idea how quick
we're only in
technology
2020. So
yeah.
That's a very good topic, though. I liked that, yeah. No, I mean, that's...
So where did you fall? I think, yeah, but it's like, in brackets, it's impossible to do.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. It's yeah, but it's like, how? Like,
well, that's their problem.
I mean, what are you going to do? All right, yeah, now for you. During quarantine, board games are better than video games. All right, so I want you to imagine you're in quarantine, maybe with your family or something like that.
Oh,
what's better in that situation?
You know what? I get a bit sick of watching a screen, so I'm going to go, yeah, I love board games. The problem is no one will play them with me.
It really depends. I guess we look at the singular. Is it a singular board game or singular video game, or are we saying all video games, all board games? Because I look at it, right, and I look at something like Roller Coaster Tycoon, open sandbox. It's just your imagination that's going to limit you when you think about it. You could try millions of different ways you want to do things.
But then again, that's quite
Minecraft.
a solo experience. You want, with board games, that often multiplayer and bring
oh
people
yeah,
in.
I didn't think that's a good point actually.
There are multiplayer games, I think, on the video game box, if I remember correctly. I believe there's quite a few.
You've never sounded older in your life.
I believe
for a gamer to say the video game box.
The video game box, but there's not many solo board games.
Yeah.
I can think of Solitaire, and that's probably about it.
Exactly. But I get what you mean. So I just adjust the mic into Ashleigh's face.
Yeah, he just pushed the mic into my face.
I'm like, just speak up a little bit, and he didn't get the hint, so I'm just like, look, here's the mic. Put it closer to you.
Ow, my face.
Now I've made it too high for you. It's actually in your nostrils.
Yeah, I hope you can all hear my lovely nostril breathing.
Just grab it down a little bit.
Fine,
Just speak into it.
I'm speaking into the mic. You think we'd be able to do this after 16 episodes?
Everyone's just listening to a live argument.
A live argument. I feel like we've turned into an old married couple already. Like, oh, you adjust your mic. Oh, I made the tea last time. Oh.
I find that funny considering we don't really talk much outside uni. Like we talk a little bit. We do our own things. We do extracurricular stuff together. We'll do challenge accepted together, the radio stuff.
But we don't sit in a room and talk for an hour.
Yeah.
Outside of this,
Yeah.
It's very strange. Now you've come to mention it.
It is a bit interesting. It's a good relationship. Anyway,
this episode's become very meta all of a sudden.
You got another year enough for me?
Yeah, So do you think... I'm thinking about recycling and the planet, right?
Yeah.
Do you think we should introduce a tax on products that don't come in recyclable containers?
Ooh. Oh, it depends though. Wouldn't it depend if it...
I'd make a small caveat that you could have like things that need to be in sound containers, like medical stuff and nuclear waste.
I feel like some people would try and abuse that loophole though. Do you get what I mean?
Well, claiming their fast food is nuclear waste.
No. That's how to get stopped. That's how to get kids to eat healthier. No, I mean, there'll be people, that will say, well, this product is actually helping, a very small amount of people, Do you get what I mean?
Not really.
Well,
I'm thinking of like how many different plastics there are. And if the government could quite easily say you're only allowed to use these 3 types of plastics.
Well, they're not going to...
And then you can recycle those plastics. I'm just putting a number to it. I think you'd have to have a lot more than 3.
Yeah, you'd have a lot more than 3. If the government said you can only use 3 types of plastic, they're just...
But you know what I mean?
Manufacturing.
Like, you can only use plastics that we can recycle. Cardboard can be recycled.
I don't know.
We want all our packaging to come in that. You work in the packaging industry.
Yeah, I'm up for a healthier planet and figuring out more ways that we recycle. But if we introduce a tax, it's going to be very difficult. It would be interesting to ask both a government minister on that and an environmental advocate as well, because I'm sure you can meet in the middle, because it's a good idea. It's just finding all the rules around it to implicate it. So I'm going to go, it just needs some work.
I think the real question would be, what we need is incentives for companies to actually use recyclable material. At the moment, we're going by use your ethics. And if there's one thing companies don't have, it's ethics, especially when money is the bottom line.
Well, that kind of leads me into my next year now. The debate about electric vehicles in Adelaide has gone up quite significantly in recent times. So do you think that electric vehicle owners should pay a higher tax rate?
Oh no, I am so pro electric vehicles. I really want one.
I like electric vehicles. I don't think they should pay an extra... I mean, all they're doing is really choosing not to drive an emissions car. Like, I don't quite understand the theory. I mean, I understand that they need to pay tax as well because they're using the roads, but they're helping the planet at the same time. But I mean,
You'd
look,
think
there's
the
an
tax
argument
would
out
be the same, because really, from a motor registration standpoint, there's not much of a difference, and you're paying the electric and you're paying the petrol completely separate.
So you're an electric vehicle guy?
I would love an electric vehicle. They're so gosh darn expensive, and then there's the whole lithium debate as well.
Yeah, that gets because that where
muddies the water.
Because that's where I was going to get to. I mean, I'm all for up to creating a future with no emissions. Sure, I mean, I still think you can't get rid of the petrol engine. I think that would be quite difficult,
especially in rural areas. And
I
can't see it like helicopters going electric, because the battery would be so heavy they would fall out of the sky.
I think we need to go down the hydrogen route.
Hydrogen, a lot lighter, but takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, it takes up a lot of space, and a lot of people saying, "Oh, but you're still using an element that is limited." It's still the most common element in the world, if I'm correct. I could be wrong on that. I will be honest. I'll be honest.
In the universe, it's the most common. I think it might be a bit harder to get here on Earth.
Yeah, universe. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry, scientists out there. I apologize. I'm trying to.
I think the sun's made of it. If we can somehow harness the power of the sun. Oh wait, solar. There we go.
Yeah, just because the way that basically some of the way some of these batteries are made, the way that the lithium, is mined as well, the way it comes out, and there's been some terrible stories of how it has affected people.
Well, it's the same with any dangerous element. And The thing is, it would be so much easier if we all could convert to this process or that process. But the thing is, there'll always be the period in the middle where some are on one and some are on another.
Well, I think, look, electric vehicles are going to be the future, but I think they're going to develop ways to make it less harmful the way that the batteries are like made and stuff. I mean, I'm not a professional on that, but that would be my theory. Yeah, well, that would be my theory. So that way it's even better. You know what I mean? I mean, again, with hydrogen, I'm surprised we haven't seen more of them, considering a lot of them just blow out water.
Yes, that's the brilliant thing about hydrogen is it mixes with oxygen and makes our beautiful H2O, which we can use a lot more of here in South Australia.
It's an interesting point, but
there's no easy answers in the world.
There's no easy answers, and that's what's probably made it.
Our questions are always going to be flawed.
Well,
not to ruin our major format point of the show. The world isn't black and white, but there you go.
Kind of a way of saying it, I suppose. But anyway, I think it's time for a music break after all that. But it was an interesting year. I enjoyed that. So this should be Katrina and the Waves, Walking on Sunshine.